Can a woman wear nail polish if they cannot pray? Yes, right. So the only time you don't need to, or the only time that you should wear nail polish, I guess we should talk about nail polish first, right? So when it comes to nail polish, many scholars, they say it is not, I don't want to say it's not permissible to wear. I think wearing nail polish is fine. I think the problem comes in when it blocks your nails from actually water touching your nails when you make wudu. This is where it becomes an issue. This is where it becomes a problem. So if a woman is not on her cycle and she's praying, the problem when she wears nail polish is that if she breaks her wudu, she'll have to take the nail polish off and then she'll have to put it back on. And those chemicals are very harsh and it's very problematic. But if she is not praying, then she can wear nail polish, inshallah. I don't see a problem. I don't see an issue with that. We live in a community where we don't have a lot of family support. Many of us have our families overseas. What should we do when we need help or we need support? Sometimes we feel like there's no one for us to turn to or ask or discuss with our problems and issues. Turn to the community. That's what community is for. The Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, one of the first things he did after the migration, after the hijrah, was the mu'akha system. So basically what he did is that he would pair a Ansari with a Muhajir. So he would pair the Ansari, who are the residents of Medina, with somebody who was migrating. And the reason for that is so that they would help them acclimate, they would help them accustom. Now, we don't have that system anymore, but we still have community. And the reason that I mention that is because many times we don't take advantage of the community that is meant to be taken advantage of. Many times within the community, instead of us actually discussing our problems and discussing our issues, it's much easier for us to start doing riba. It's much easier for us to start doing namima. It's much easier for us to backbite. It's much easier for us to tail carry than it actually is to say, like, hey, listen, I'm having a problem with my son and I don't know how to deal with it, right? It can be very embarrassing. It can be very difficult. But the reality is like, okay, should I deal with the embarrassment or should I deal with the possibility of losing my son or daughter? Should I deal with the embarrassment or should I deal with the possibility of my marriage breaking? Should I deal with embarrassment or should I deal with the possibility of me falling into debt? Because a lot of times we can find help in the community. There are a lot of programs and services that are available through Al-Hijrah. There are a lot of programs and services that are available through the state and through the county. Al-Hijrah has actually directed a number of people to those programs and services. If I'm in a state where I need help, then all I have to do is come and ask. I've had a number of people come to me. I myself can't always help, right? Like me in my personal capacity. But one of the jobs of the imam is to direct people to services so that they can get their own help. I have people come to me and they're like, hey, listen, Sheikh, like I need money for this and that. And I want to be very clear on this, and I'm not saying this in a malicious or bad way. Al-Hijrah does not have emergency funding, meaning that we don't keep cash to distribute to people to walk in. And the reason for this is that some of you who might be familiar with the history of Al-Hijrah, in the early 2000s, there was after 9/11, the government was cracking down on a number of agencies. One of those biggest agencies was the Holy Land Foundation. The Holy Land Foundation was the biggest supporters of the issue in Gaza and Palestine. So they would send money overseas. The government froze their assets. They closed them down. And guess who one of the biggest cooperators were with the Holy Land Foundation? Al-Hijrah Islamic Center. The FBI came. They raided all the computers. They pulled people in. There are people who went to jail. Alhamdulillah, there are some people who avoided jail. And you know why? Because there are people who donated $10 cash. There are people who donated, you know what I mean? So, or sometimes Al-Hijrah would give cash and they would link this person, oh, this person is that person's sister, this person is related to that person, this person is friends with that one. And all you need is 1 degree of separation for them to say like, oh, look, this is a terrorist organization. We're going to come and we're going to freeze their assets. And there was like legal cases, there are a lot of problems. After that, we've stopped doing cash emergency aid. We've stopped. It doesn't mean that you can't get help. We have an application system, you apply. It takes anywhere from a week to 10 days to get a response for that. Alhamdulillah, most of the people who do apply for the services do get help, right? So it's not like the institution doesn't help people. We just don't give cash aid because of the history and the problems that we had in the past. That's the only reason. It's not because we don't want to help people. And we do want to support everyone, right? That's the idea. And part of the reason the community gives money to Al-Hijrah is because they want to help the community. but we can't give emergency aid. And there are two sides to this, right? The one side is people like, oh, well, this person needs help. But I also have people coming to me and saying like, hey, I'm getting evicted, I need money. I understand that, and I'm sorry for that situation. But eviction notices take at least 3 months before they go into effect. I need community service hours. I need 120 hours by next week. When were you given this? I was given 6 months ago. The judge told me I needed it. We're here to help. We are. But there has to be a sense of personal responsibility as well. The moment I receive a potential eviction notice, what should I do? That's the time I need to go and seek help, because it gives me 3 months to figure out what to do. If I receive community service hours, the day I receive the day the judge tells me, I go and I start looking for them. Right? There has to be two sides to this. Yes, the Al-Hijrah will support. There's no doubt about that. But we have to support ourselves too as individuals. If I know that the hammer is coming down, and I know that I'm going to see and foresee problems, I need to start taking care of the problems the moment I find out about them. I can't come 2 days before the expiration and be like, oh, look, I need help. Oh, I need this. I have a surgery. I have, a funnier example of this is like people coming to me saying that, oh, Sheikh, like I need to get married today. It's like, did you find out you're getting married today? Right? Like everybody plans that they're getting married. Yeah, thank you. So, and if you want to, like you were planning this, and if you're including me in the last stages, there's very little I can do for you. Right? I should have been part of the planning process just like you were planning with your potential spouse. Or it's like, oh, if you don't marry us, like, we're going to fall into haram. And I'm like, that has nothing to do with me. That's your decision. Like you can't emotionally abuse me or blackmail me in thinking that I'm going to fall into the situation. I don't know who you are. I don't know what your background is. I don't know what's going on in the situation. And if you want to, alhamdulillah, we are one of the few masajid in the United States, maybe even the world, that actually has an appointment system where you can come in. I will call you, literally. Like, make an appointment, I will call you. And be like, hey, what's going on? What do you need help with? How can I guide you? And walillah alhamd. Like last year, we had over 1,000 appointments. This year, we're on track to be even more, even though I had to remove a day because there were just too many appointments. So, and this isn't just serving the DMV. Like we actually have survey data to show that there are people, not just nationally, not just within the United States, but also internationally. And you'd be surprised. I get calls from New York City. There's no shortage of imams there. I get calls from Houston. No shortage of imams there. I get calls from Tennessee. No shortage of imams there. So why is it they're reaching out to Al-Hijrah Islamic Center? I'm not an international figure. I guarantee nobody knows me. So it's not, they're not calling because of me. They're calling because of the service that's available. So alhamdulillah, like I said, we're doing the best that we can to serve the community in different ways and different capacities. But there has to be a sense of responsibility on the person who's coming and seeking those services, and there has to be a sense of humility. I need to recognize that I need help so that I can go and ask for it without worrying about being embarrassed, right? Part of humility is learning how to deal with embarrassment. And the other part of it is knowing where to go to seek that help. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us tawfiq.